tell you that we are the small axe, sharp and ready to cut you down.
We mustn't be victims, but protagonists of our stories.
As individuals, we have an impossible battle. As a collective, we stand a chance.
Sometimes I think the earth needs to be scorched so something good will come of it.
Uprising, this an uprising. There ain't no work and we have no shilling. We can't take no more of this suffering.
The school system has a policy of targeting our children. There is a deeply rooted cultural bias. As a collective, we stand a chance.
If you want a big tree, we are the small axe.
We're adding new titles every day to our awesome collection of blockbuster movies. Download the app and subscribe. This isn't just a streaming channel. This is a bold new world of entertainment. Arise Play. Beyond streaming.
Hello and welcome to Perspectives, where we take a deep dive into the issues of the day and where we take a look at people's opinion on such issues. I am Ruth Osime.
And I am Olaterera Majakadumi Onuru.
Welcome back to Perspectives here on Arise News. Nigeria, the giant of Africa and the most populous black nation in the world, is today marking her 62nd anniversary of political independence from Britain. Traditional activities to commemorate this landmark have been scheduled, but the federal government of Nigeria wants all celebrations at low key and has indeed made special security arrangements to keep everyone safe in recognition of the present-day realities.
It has been more than 60 years of a history steeped in patriotism, of great national pride, of wars, tears, and blood, of unprecedented economic boom, a fantastic period of educational, scientific, and diplomatic accomplishments, countless missed opportunities, and second chances. And with Nigeria proving a home to 1 out of every 4 black people on earth, the rest of humanity has indeed played a pivotal role in the evolution of this giant among other nations. And the green represents natural wealth.
Yes, thank God. We are hoping to get that back
in peace.
with the right governance. you know. And I felt that his speech was also, you know, something that you just dust up. When you, what did we say last year? Okay, let's just add this, let's add that. I felt that he should have been a bit more compassionate when he was talking to the people who are living 3 times worse a condition than they were when he came into power. I felt he owed it to us as his last Independence Day speech to explain that, look, things might not be the way you want it to be. We might not have met up to your standards in terms of expectations, but we pray that the next person coming over, do you understand, would help, you know, solve our issues.
I completely
Why would you just make it sound
similarly.
as if, oh, we've done this, we've done that, we've done... And you are talking to us as a people.
I felt like his speech did not resonate with
It didn't
what we are
resonate with
all
reality
going through.
on ground.
From the Nigerians everywhere, diaspora at home, Lagos, Abuja, Kaduna, Kano, everywhere.
That
We're all
100 million,
going through a
100
lot.
million jobs he said he created, that was the one that even did me in. As far as I'm, you know,
there are no figures to back
there are no
that
figure-
up. We
like-
discussed Japan last week and how people are migrating in massive amounts. So we know
Abundantly
that
so.
The speech did not resonate to what we are all
It
going
didn't
through
even
in
make you
Nigeria.
feel like your father is talking to you and is trying to make you understand that against all odds. I mean, the end of the speech was when he said something about, oh, I appreciate Nigeria for you Nigerians for the pain and the resilience that you have gone through. Resilience, we are quite all right. Oh, that you will make sure that you see the end of this before the end of your tenure. You are living in 4 months.
I think it was more excuses or more trying to cover up what he thinks he should have done than it was actual inhumane caring for what we've been through.
You see, the thing about Nigeria, right? Even though this is a time that we should celebrate Nigeria and all its pluses and minuses, as bad as our minuses are, we also have strong pluses. Our entertainment industry, our creative industry
capital.
has catapulted to global stage. I mean, I remember when we used to do when I used to work for Arise. I remember that we used to hold shows. There was a time we invited over 50 other African countries to come and partake in our show here in Lagos. We've been in New York Fashion Week. We've been in South African Fashion Week. Naomi Campbell has been an ambassador.
Agbani Darego,
even Vogue, Anna Winter congratulated us for the brand as itself, and we've done a lot to help the industry. And aside from Arise, there are also other platforms that are doing the same things too. The creative industry, in terms of writing, we have Chimamanda, do you understand? In terms of arts, we have Moabudu, we have Kunlola Fanyohon, we have Bolanle Osinpita. So in that aspect,
Burna Boy,
same industry, we have the Burna Boys, we have the Wizkids, we have the Davidos, and we have the Tiwas. And guess what? These brand ambassadors have taken Nigeria to the global stage and dominated it. I mean, you travel abroad and you hear their music being played all over. I was in Dubai the other day, and they were playing, what's that, Fireboy? Peru, Para, you know, and it was being played.
And Nigeria songs
and they knew the words. They knew the words. They weren't just singing the chorus. They knew what the words were.
Yes.
So I thought to myself, my goodness, if we can be this strong a brand, and this is without the help of the government, if we can make quality brand like this, if we can market this, then surely this should extend to other departments as well.
I agree.
I also feel that in the economy, we should have economy-driven people to work in our government. In other words, they are the ones who can put this in play. They can put this in play. They can run the country without interference of the government and make sure there are stringent laws that are followed and adhered to.
Very important.
So that if we are progressing, we know what yardstick and what formula we are using.
I think it's important that we make sure that we are
maximizing
the potentials of the 95% remaining Nigerians who are not attaining the success of the Davidos, the Burna Boys, and those.
And I hope that
realm.
You know, I just pray for a better Nigeria.
I pray too. We're heading for a short break now, and when we return, we will have an opportunity to speak with Odia Ofeimun, a poet and polemicist, the author of many volumes of poetry, books of political essays, and on cultural politics. Perspectives will return in just a moment.
Now this is more like it, right? We want the best quality ingredients when we cook. But when it comes to salt, we care less. We say salt is salt. Well, I care about my salt. It goes into my food and my body. So I use Dangote salt. Dangote salt is high-quality salt that is refined and iodized to give great taste to my meals and also to support my family's health and well-being. It's time to care about your salt.
Every day, transactions are made. Whether it is paying bills, transferring funds to loved ones, or purchasing airtime. But there is only one way to maximize your transactions. Let me show you how. Access Rewards allows you to earn redeemable points while you spend. The incredible thing is that your points could make you enjoy this summer on a different level. Here's how it works. Download the Access More app and sign up. Opt in to Access Rewards to create your reward wallet, then start transacting. What are you waiting for? Download the Access More app, opt in for Access Rewards, and start transacting.
I just want flex, don't need stress in my life. Avoid the yawa, I no want queue for the bank. Sharp, sharp, I don't open an account. Digital bank, we get the power, now vote. I pay my bills easily, I'm running things like a boss. Collect a loan with no collateral. Vault is the way. Vault is the answer. From Polaris Bank. Vault is the answer. Vault is the way.
Take control. Download Vault by Polaris Bank. That's VULTE. Visit the Google Play Store or Apple Store now. Vault is available to Polaris and non-Polaris Bank customers. Vault by Polaris Bank.
Welcome back to Perspectives here on Arise News. As the country stands on the threshold of another general election, the question of political leadership and how much the political class has done in forging her history bubbles to the surface once again.
That's right. And that's where we are going to initiate the conversation today. And our first guest is, simply put, a national treasure, a man who witnessed the birth of contemporary Nigeria on October 1st, 1960, a man of letters and a poet who has played his role well and who was private secretary to the first premier of Western Nigeria, the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Odia Ofeimun now joins us. Great to have you here. Welcome, Odia.
Welcome, Odia. Great to have you here. Okay, my first question for you today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being with us. As usual, you're always welcome. The national ethics and integrity policy strengthens Nigerian cohesion, social equity, and equality of purpose. It also pursues basic freedoms, individuals, and social rights, not to mention material development of all Nigerians. These factors, as we all know, are crucial for us to, once again, attain the Nigeria of our dreams. Sadly, globally, Nigeria has long passed its sell-by date as the giant of Africa, because these ethics have been abused and long shoved aside through the selfish interest of bad leadership. Nigeria is not working, as you and I both know, and may never work as is presently structured. Nations do not work by happenstance. So please, my question to you is, how can Nigeria as a nation begin the long process of restoring its lost glory?
That is a question we've been trying to answer since 1900. That is, before the British sat down to business in Nigeria. We can divide Nigeria's history into about 5 stations: pre-colonial, colonial, independence, military rule and civil war, and then the return to civil rule and the current repeat of the anarchy that started the process before 1900. It is important for us to know that we started with a period of anarchy and it has not ended. Every effort we have made to correct it was done wrong. We were a people of certified geography. We knew where each ethnic group belonged in terms of cultural geography. But before the British came, we were already getting involved in smashing each other's stability and formalities through slavery, through civil wars in very many parts of the country. But when the British came, they made it appear as if we were having some form of stability. But they started by supporting one part against the rest of the country. That is to say, we never had a formalized system of commonality. The British made sure that they were enforcing a code that favored some groups against others. One easy way to look at it is to say, for instance, the Fulani and the Hausa speak the same language. They tend to belong to the same religion, but they don't have a common code of citizenship. The division between the Fulani and the Hausa have been consistently transferred to every other part of the country, which is to say that when you say we, the we does not take care of that position you always have in the north, where you say a pulo is a pulo and a kado is a kado. It means that in spite of all the things that bring us together, we don't have a common citizenship code. Because of that, each time you needed to deal with Nigeria as a commonality, as one nation, it always required that you made a distinction between different regions and different ethnic groups, different religions.
Okay.
The British enshrined it almost as a constitutionality. The regions that were created had a majority ethnic group in every region.
Yeah.
That which led to the first revolt of the minority ethnic groups. all through the colonial period, it was a struggle by all the minority ethnic groups to ensure that they were treated fairly. The workshop for the injustice that was meted out to other ethnic nationalities in Nigeria was built up in the division and the injustices already created between the Fulani and the Hausa. And the attempt to turn the whole of Nigeria into such a divided society was what all those constitutional conferences during the colonial period were meant to remove. We were supposed to have a formality, a constitutionality that will make it possible for us to live in in such a state that no one people oppresses or hegemonizes over others.
Thank you, Mr. Odia. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
We really never managed to create it.
Agreed.
The first struggle during the colonial period, from as early as before 1914, was the struggle by ethnic nationalities fighting to have regions of their own.
Thank you so much.
The big power centers in the north, in the west, in the east did not exactly wish for the minorities to have regions of their own. That was the first crisis.
Right.
At independence, the north and the east pulled a coalition and decided to smash the west. Smashing the west was not very helpful because after the first restructuring that was done in Nigeria, when two different parts of the country, north and south, had the south broken into two, and creating the basis for a three-cornered fight.
Right.
When independence came and that coalition between East and North took place, the West was broken into two, and we now have 4 states.
Thank you, Mr. Odia.
But that did not.
Today we are celebrating. Thank you, Mr. Odia.
The kind of federalism that everybody wanted.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Because
Odia.
we never managed to create a proper federal system. At every stage of Nigeria's history, we were always faced with this problem of one part of the country dominating, hegemonizing, and refusing to allow the other parts to enjoy the proper seats of freedom.
Should I ask questions?
Thank you so much, Mr.
When we discuss Nigeria in these terms.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your deep insights about Nigeria of today, and we really hope that we can see you again and talk to you again, because there's just so much to learn from you. Thank you so much. You know, and you've given us a good insight about Nigeria, but I know that Nigeria has so much potential. We have so much to offer the world. We are rich in culture. We are savvy with our youths when it comes to IT. We are talented when it comes to fashion. There's just so much for us to do. We are great storytellers. We have done movies, groundbreaking movies.
With bad structures, a great people with bad structures, we always enter the kind of troubles we have.
Yeah, but you have to understand, sir, that even with these bad structures, we have still excelled. This bad structure has produced Davido. It has produced Burna Boy. It has produced Chimamanda. It has produced Kola Alof. It has produced so many talented people.
Despite
the bad
structures, how do we maximize more opportunities for
I think that's what we should focus
today?
on. How we can maximize what we have. Because we're a resilient people.
I'm afraid we refuse to look at what the real problems are so that we can deal with it.
No,
the kind of slavery and slave trading that took place in the first part of our history is still taking place in 2022. We must face it squarely. And
understand that, sir.
In a period of election, we should not pretend that talking about only the good part and how sweet things are is all it is. Nigerians are doing well without their government.
We completely agree.
We need a Nigeria that can do well with a government that is doing well.
Sir, can I draw something to your attention? Nigeria is like, we are in a racetrack, okay? We have people running on the track itself, and then we have people running on the field. Nigeria is running on the field, and even at that disadvantage, we are still overtaking some of them on this racetrack. So, sir, I understand where you're coming from, but I cannot deny the fact that
we don't want to be overtaking people who are not as distinguished as we are. Sir, you are comparing Nigeria to many countries that do not have the kind of resources, the kind of human material that we have.
Yes. Sir, I'm not the enemy here. Let's first get that right. Okay? I'm on the same, I can see where you're coming from, and I know where your frustration is coming from. A lot of us feel that. But what I'm saying is that as a resilient people, even regardless of all these obstacles, we still are excelling in certain areas. What we need to do is harness the quality of our leaders and even be better at what we do than we're doing now. Don't get me wrong, please. Don't think that I'm going against you.
Why are we not able to harness?
Well, I reckon the answer should be pretty obvious. We need stronger leadership.
No,
we need better leadership.
The question is not pretty obvious. When you ask a Nigerian, he will say it is leadership. Leadership is not just the question. There's a problem of the kind of structure that makes it impossible for even good leaders to emerge.
But the problem starts from somewhere, and then it extends to other areas, to infrastructure, to healthcare, to education. The problem is not just one part, one area. It's a lot of problems.
Those problems are incidental.
Okay.
So the core issue.
One more question for you, Mr. Odia. Modern-day Nigeria was formed 108 years ago under British colonialism that merged the North and South Royal Nigeria Protectorates. Then, our population was estimated at 18 million citizens. By independence, this grew to 45 million people. Half a century later today, we stand at over 200 million citizens. We understand the setbacks and the challenges Nigeria continues to...
You and I are not telling the truth. We don't know the population of Nigeria.
We have an idea. We have an idea. Okay, what do you estimate the population of Nigeria to be,
how do we maximize the capabilities of Nigerians today, despite the challenges we continue to have?
No, Mr. Adi, I have to first ask, what is your estimate of the population of Nigeria?
That stand in the way of creativity.
But we don't lack creativity. We don't lack creativity. You can't take that away from us, sir. We don't lack creativity. It's our creativity that has also put us on the global map.
We have a creative people who no longer can move as fast as they can because the structures stand in their way.
Yeah. I see what you're saying, Mr. Odia.
Thank you so much, Mr. Odia.
But you know, I wish you could... Yes, go on, sorry.
Happy 62nd Independence Day to you and to every Nigerian out there. We are heading for a short break, and when we come back, we will have with us here Steve Baba-Eko and Charles Otudor, both of them household names in advertising and branding. They would help us explore all the possible ways of rebranding Nigeria for effective development moving forward. Do please stay with us. Perspectives will return in just a moment.
Here's a card we no go give you stress at all. Zero waiting, zero queue. First Bank Petrol card. Here's a card we no go give you wahala. Zero trouble now for you. First Bank Tell off it farm. Tell off it spoiler. Who won't break them? Where you want say now only you get them. Nothing fit do one. Sharp, sharp payment not the way. Swipe they go, you know the way. Veteran card with the sweet body. Veteran card we know the shape person. We put you first again. First banking veteran card we put you first again. Generate your virtual card we put you first again. First banking virtual card we put you first again. Just generate your virtual card.
The Duchess International Hospital opened its doors in October 2021. The mission of the hospital is to reverse medical tourism. We take particular care here at the Duchess to bring together a combination of the brightest and the best locally, as well as Nigerians in the diaspora who are interested in returning to do very good work for the benefit of our patients here in this country.
The good thing is that we have all international expertise here, all international facilities here, international people working here. Everything is coming together in a space which was considered not great in terms of the availability of healthcare.
Access Bank, of course, has been able to provide us with a robust range of products and services that has enabled us to deliver that standard and quality of healthcare that is integral to our mission as an organization.
There's nothing better than the roar of your fans. But in Nigeria, there's a roar that will knock the head again. With fewer than 50 lions left in the wild, they could be extinct in the next few years. From loss of habitat and prey, and snares set for illegal bushmeat. Please say no to illegal bushmeat, and let's keep the roar alive for Nigeria. Poaching steals from us all.
Welcome back to Perspectives here on Arise News. The story of Nigeria in past 62 years has not been all tragic. I mean, let's be honest. It goes without saying that the civil war broke out something about the Nigerian nation, something that successive generations, of Nigerians have been trying to fix for more than 50 years. That effort to brand or rebrand Nigeria has come in different names and guises.
Absolutely, and this takes us to our next set of guests. Steve Babaeko, who is President, Association of Advertising Agencies of Nigeria, an advertising and music executive, public advocate, and founder, X3M Ideas. And next to him is Charles Otudor, Africa's premier brand strategist and engagement consultant. Great to have the both of you with us on this auspicious occasion. Men in Black, welcome to Perspectives.
Exactly. Men in Black.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you.
So good to see you guys
Nice to
here.
see you.
I'm sure you saw the first half where I was talking to Odia Ofemlon, and he didn't spare me. He was really gunning for my throat, You know, that's one thing about us Nigerians. We're very aggressive. Have you noticed?
Absolutely.
If we argue, our voices are the loudest.
Of
If we
course.
have to make a point, we are the ones that come across the best. So we have to give ourselves some tap on the shoulder, pat on the shoulder once in a while. Now, let's start with you, okay? As far as I'm concerned, Nigeria, yes, has gone through a bad time or is going through a bad time. But like when you're driving a car, no matter how long you drive for, at some point, with the right person behind the steering wheel, it just takes one turn to get onto the right direction.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter how far you've gone behind. Once you can move, they say an inch is better than a mile in the right direction. So the reason, what I want to ask you, you're a brand ambassador, both of you are, is that how would you brand Nigeria? I feel that, for instance, like we discussed earlier on, when you take brand ambassadors here, Nigerians here, to go and promote another country like Dubai or South Africa, and they take them because they're celebrities.
Sure.
They take them because they're, at least in the African continent, they're globally known. We're the best in acting anyway. We're the third after Bollywood.
Absolutely.
So why take our brands to go and sell themselves in another country? Why can't we get them to come and sell themselves here, other people to come and sell themselves here? Do you understand? I feel that we have so much going for us.
Definitely.
How do we now package this brand and make it more appealing to the global world?
Well, thank you so much for that question, Ruth. And let me just use this opportunity to say happy independence to
Oh, that's true. But you guys didn't wear green, though. You're not patriotic.
Well,
You're not patriotic.
I have green in my heart. I have green running through my
Okay,
veins.
you have white, obviously.
But the thing is, you see in the past, if you look at the maybe antecedents of us as a country,
yes,
we've made a couple of attempts to put together a branding strategy for the country, albeit maybe unsuccessfully. I think during the regime of Obasanjo, you saw that Adora Akunyili set up something called Brand Nigeria, and they came up with that tagline, good people, great nation.
Sure.
And then before then, there was the mishap of the Heart of Africa, which was said to be a carbon copy of what Malawi was already claiming.
Okay.
So a couple of all of those things have happened in the past. But the thing is, we've not been deliberate in our strategy to rebrand. And rebranding takes a deliberate effort. You see mega brands that we all know, I don't want to advertise any brand on this program, that are like 150 years old. They are still advertising today. Why? Because branding is a destination. There's no destination called good branding. You have to continue. It's a marathon. It's not sprint, right? So I think the things we need to put in place are the platform and all of the infrastructure that will help us get it right. And I would look at countries that have deliberately done it well. You see Brand SA. You made reference to them coming here and taking our celebrities to go and be advertising. They take them here, they give them per diems, in Esther Coat allowance on a daily basis. They pay for their flight. They put them on the motorbikes to go through all of the nice scenery of South Africa.
Yeah.
What do you think they are trying to do? One, they know South Africa is how many people? Maybe 50-something million people. They know the population is here, over 200 million people. They are going to find a way to sell us this story through our own famous people that South Africa is the best place to go to. Dubai, what they've done with Emirates Airline, just flying the flag of the UAE. And this is a country that, if you look at it, the history of UAE is about just maybe 51 years old as an entity. But look at what they have done. They know what it means to bring the most iconic architecture.
Okay, but so how do you translate that to Nigeria?
One, what I would suggest to you is that if we want to borrow from our neighbors who are South Africa, so let's not compare ourselves to America.
Exactly. What are we going to do that will make us us?
Go to brandsa.com. Brand SA is a company on its own with a CEO and people working in that platform who are consciously and deliberately building a brand called South Africa. It's the Rainbow Nation.
So we need like that in Nigeria.
We need to do that because it's not something that the Ministry of Information can do or it's something that the government can do. Bring experts who really, really know their onions. Branding is not something that you can just call anybody.
Are you recommending we bring experts to brand?
Local experts.
That's what he just said.
Branding experts. People who are experts at doing branding.
From other countries?
No, we have. That's why we have the Association of Advertising Agencies of Nigeria.
But has that had any effect though in branding Nigeria? That association that is in Nigeria, have they played a prominent role, a predominant role?
Always winning. I spoke to the Honorable Minister and I said, look, we partner with the Ministry of Information to do some advocacy, but branding a nation, it takes commitment of resources. We have to dissect the nation and find a way to say, look, what is the core essence of this country? What do we want to push? Of course, there are people who always badmouth Nigeria. And I say Nigeria is perhaps the most vilified nation in the world. Whether for right reason or wrong reason, that is another debate for another day. But you see, until we put that infrastructure that will help us distill our core essence and our DNA, you can say today that the biggest resources of this country today is not even the oil, it's the people. Our resilience, our doggedness, our never say die attitude. That's why anywhere we go to in the world, we dominate. So we need to be able to harness all of that
package
and put it into a story that we want to sell to the world.
That ties into my next question for you.
See, just to add to what he was saying before you ask the question, I think the biggest challenge we have as a nation is lack of attention to details. We have so much going for us. I was driving on Terminal Bridge today. I saw bikers, riders, all branded Nigeria. Nigerians are already passionate about Nigeria. It's amazing. You don't have to go too far to find passion for the country. It's about, I will borrow from what he said, being deliberate means that you have a strategy and you have an effective leadership that is that understands that you already have a set of people ready to follow you as long as they do the right thing. And it's called priority. And priority will come from clarity, brand clarity. What is your brand clarity? Most leaders go into government and they don't have any priority. Let's leave security, let's leave, those are fundamentals, yes, but you want to brand a country, you must have clarity. Do you even understand what it is to brand a country as a leader? If you don't understand it, you are not born to understand
Isn't that similar to what he just
said?
Yes.
So put in place the people and the structures.
That understand how to propose.
And bring them in.
Bring them in.
Yes.
Okay.
And then let them do their jobs.
Okay. Nigerians, like you said, have this strong patriotism globally. Today, our 62nd independence, we have Nigerians celebrating everywhere. There are rallies and campaigns going on in New York, in New Jersey, here in Lagos, Abuja, I'm sure in London. We have this sense of passion for our people, passion for development, passion for growth within our country, and we take that everywhere we go. When I travel, people say, oh, I love Nigeria. I've heard so much about Nigeria. I have Nigerian friends. Nigerians in the diaspora have spread that message of greater Nigeria, of what Nigeria can be and achieve. My question to you today is, how can we capitalize on Nigerians in the diaspora, this strength in patriotism, and translate it to increase tourism and investment for the country?
It goes back to the same thing. I was on the board of Nigerians in Diaspora Europe for 8 years. And one of the major issues we had was Nigerians not trusting Nigerians. And it's not Nigerians not just trusting, it's the system itself that if you send money to Nigeria from Europe, everybody's suspicious, the system itself. So let's go back to leadership and the policies that drive our economy. Now, if you work in Rwanda, you have a business, you set up a business now. My last son is in Rwanda, he's graduating in December, ALU. Now, if you set up a business in Rwanda, you have 3 years, no tax.
Okay. I have to squeeze in a question before...
No, I want to wrap this up.
Yes.
So,
we don't have that much left.
So if you work in Rwanda, for instance, you can send in money and get in money out But after 3 years, you can't do that. The infrastructure must be put in place. That's the system, and it starts from the leadership. The quality of leadership that drives the economy and everything else.
Thank you very much. Another question I want to ask before we end is that America is painted like the land of plenty. It's painted like the place to be in, like the most beautiful country, the best country in the world, this, that, and the other. They're the strongest patronites. The patronize their country brand. They're the strongest brand. But we also know that in America, you can leave your house today and come back and get shot. Or your flatmate can decide you've pissed her off and she shoots you. So when it comes to gun shooting, they're terrible. And also racism also exists in America, no matter how damn I mean, look at John, what's that guy's name? I Can't Breathe. You know? So, on the other hand, the Americans and the American portrayal to the world is that this is the country to be in.
Number one.
Nigeria, we have our flaws. But how else can we advertise what we have as a brand?
Like I said.
Do you understand? How can we move forward and say, regardless of A, B, C, D, E, we don't want to hear about scammers. We don't want to hear about 419. Have you know, to even be a good 419, you have to be intelligent. No, seriously. If you must look at it that way, the likes of the hush puppy now, for instance, should be working with CIA. We are an intelligent people.
Sure.
So I go to hotels, I go to airports, I see brochures, I see lovely adverts being made. It makes it enticing to want to come to Nigeria and want to travel to these places because of the way they advertise through brochures, through TV, through. How do we sell our narrative, sell our story to the world?
The thing is that, I mean, I will not send any invoice to anybody, but I'll give these free tips. There are things that are already happening.
Are you going to charge us? We're giving you mileage too now.
I'm just saying. What I'll suggest is that there are things already happening. A Burna Boy today will sell out Madison Square Garden in New York in seconds. The ticket is gone. Things are already happening. He goes there. He's a Nigerian figure. People are already flying. A Wizkid will sell out O2.
And Davido.
Tiwa. All of these guys are already doing a fantastic job representing this country. All the government needs to do, set up a deliberate policy that just hangs the national flag on the coattail of the flights they are sending, they are already going. No, but it's good. But you see, what we then do is that, how do we deliberately leverage all of their efforts? We're moving our cuisine, we're moving our fashion. Look at our rice fashion. Fantastic efforts in selling Nigeria to the world. How do we bring government to participate and create that enabling environment that will allow us to show our best side? No country in the world shows their ugliest side to the world. You know, until Hurricane Katrina happened, that's when you now saw in that flood, as tragic as it was, the soft underbelly of America. That it is not all. There are no gold, the streets are not paved with gold. So it's the same thing here. So Nigeria has so many good qualities that we need to showcase to the world, but the government has to be, like I said, very deliberate in making sure they partner with people.
They should come and employ you people now. How much do you charge? It can't be that expensive. Patriotic. Quick one, we only have 1 minute left.
In front of what you just said, government must recognize the impact and relevance of the consultants. If you don't, you're working in the dark. It's like,
in other words, government to get true professionals, like your brand.
Because
like
government keep on doing the same thing all the time. They employ a non-professional to be a minister of whatever. There must be a brand management agency.
So do you think it's a prerequisite that whoever is the Minister of Information must have some experience?
Of course.
Is that why we are having issues?
Even if you don't, the minister must be able to harness all the talents available in the country to help the government build some of these infrastructural bases that we need.
Because that's one key area that we really need to work on.
Sure, definitely. We need to get the right people in the right position, and you see the image of this country begin to.
But do you also think that making documentaries would also help?
It's not even just, there's no silver bullet for branding a country. So it's a multifaceted project. You have the internal publics who are Nigerians. Because before you even begin to sell to the outside world, you need to convince our people that this is the direction we ought to be going as a nation, right? And then you take what is that thing that separates us from the rest of the
rest of
world.
the world.
And that is that competitive advantage that we
our
have
culture,
that we now sell
textiles,
to the rest of
and
the
the,
world.
and the world is just...
We have it in abundance.
And then what you can do is, beyond even just branding Nigeria, you can now begin to break Nigeria down into separate. Look, you see India. India will say Incredible India, right?
Okay.
And then they will now brand Kerala. Kerala is part of, it's an Indian province that also attracts tourism. So Lagos is like a huge place. How do you begin to break it down? Aba is a hotbed of entrepreneurship. How do you package Aba on the so that begin to sell to the rest of the world? So those are the things.
I like everything you're saying
that
today,
we need to look at.
and we need to really focus on these things.
But
you have an industry professional association. Have you considered, or are you currently working with government to further the branding opportunities for the country?
The great thing is that the Honorable Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, has the oversight for the advertising industry. And we have a very decent and honest relationship with him. We keep throwing ideas around. And like I keep saying, this thing is going to take time. But it has to take like a serious commitment on the part of the government to make sure that we go forward.
Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
so
unfortunately, government is out. This government is going.
well, you never know.
There's still so much we can do in 4 months.
4 months? No.
Fingers crossed.
In God we trust.
Let's just hope we get somebody who understands Nigeria, understands the complexity of Nigeria, understands and grasps Nigeria's issues. Put the right plug, right what's that thing? Right
step forward and take us forward.
Right plug in the square plug in the square hole and round plug in the round hole. Because we cannot give up. This is the country, it's the only country we know, it's the only country we have.
We all agree. We all agree.
So on that note, we'd have to thank everybody for coming today. Thank you for being on Perspective.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You've been watching Perspective here on Arise News with me, Ruth Osime.
And with me, Ola Torera Majekodumi Oniru. Goodbye for now.
As you adjust to the new realities for operating your business and engaging with your customers, let us help you transform your business into a digital powerhouse capable of adapting and taking advantage of today's opportunities. With our best-in-class array of digital solutions, you can conduct your business, receive payments from your customers, and perform transactions quickly, safely, and conveniently, because we've got you covered with the right people, technology, and service offerings. Contact us today and let us take your business to its zenith. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.